Byron, how thrilled are you to be here and get this all kicked off right now?
I'm excited. It's going to be a fun 2017, some good announcements yesterday, so just exciting to kind of see everything come together.
And not often we see a driver come up that has a university logo on their uniform. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Liberty University's been on board with me for the last 3 or 4 years, so thankfully we're taking them to the Xfinity Series next year or this year and for a few races. So really excited about that, and they're excited. We got to do a commercial shoot yesterday, so I know it's going to be a good season for them.
All right, please raise your hands and we'll get a mic to you right away. Matt's over here, and I see Tyler back there. Tyler, go ahead.
Yep, Tyler Burnett, Motor Racing Network. William, with the new points format changes, you kind of have an advantage coming into the Xfinity Series this year because we had the caution clock in the Truck Series last year. It's sort of similar where it's segmented. Do you feel like you have an advantage because pretty much you are one of a handful that are, racing segmented races already?
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar, but at least there's something of a reward when that caution does come out. So I think that's going to be good for if we qualify well next year. If we can start on the pole or something like that and lead the first segment, get a few bonus points for the playoffs. So I think that's going to be overall a really good thing for us. And really, if you have a crash late in the race or something like that, you still get a benefit from the race. If you say you dominate the race and you lose the race with 5 to go or something on a green-white checkered, you still get something.
All right, we're going to go Jim Utter, Chris Knight, Matt, and then Jerry Jordan. Jim?
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. William, you were kind of brought up yesterday in many of the discussions with people like Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon and NASCAR executives as the poster child of how the new format may have helped someone last season in that you had such a successful year with a lot of wins and had a fluke kind of an engine problem that kind of curtailed your season toward the end. Not to rehash something of bad news, but what did you think in regards to that? Do you think this format addresses some of those things that you experienced last season?
I think so. I mean, I think that it was an unfortunate situation last year, but, we can't really look back at that. But I think if we do have a good season this year and we have something like that come to the second round of the chase, it feels a lot more comforting that we could get through to Homestead with our previous success throughout the year and stuff like that. So I think, I'm just happy that the sport is trying to trying to innovate themselves and do things that would help a situation like that last year, because for to try and avoid that happening, I guess, again, is a good thing for our team to know that we can, not have a parts failure, or if we do have a parts failure, we can advance past it and still have our championship hopes alive.
All right, Chris?
Chris Knight, catchfans.com. Yesterday, you guys announced that Liberty University signed on for 17 of the 33 races. How's sponsorship looking for the other races?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I think JRM is working on that side to get that finalized and finished up. So really excited to have have Liberty University on board for Daytona, and I think the car's going to look good all year. I think there's going to be a few different sponsors, so really excited about that. And I think we've got a great team around us, and we're definitely ready to go.
All right, let's go Jerry Jordan, then we'll go over to David Scott.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network and Kicking the Tires. William, you've been asked this last year, but this year, Liberty University, you're going to school there as well. With a tougher schedule in the Xfinity Series, how are you working with that, and how are you keeping up?
It's not been too bad. I mean, definitely the schedule's been a lot tighter and tougher already with, productions and everything like that comes along with the Xfinity Series. So that's all been exciting, and I started my classes last Monday, so just been working on that and kind of do it on the weekends. Usually I'm not racing on Sundays, so I usually do my work on Sundays or Wednesdays and try and get caught up. So it's not been too bad. I think it's going to be a pretty seamless transition.
I will go to David and then over to Jeff.
David Scott, Charlotte Observer. William, here I am right here. Okay. Hey. What did you take from last year dominating the regular season like you did and then having a strong start in the chase and then to have things kind of go so wrong as they did?
I think the biggest thing is we were able to carry the momentum into the chase. We ran well. I think we won 2 races in the Chase. So we won Homestead in New Hampshire, and Phoenix obviously went the way it did. But I feel like we can just carry that over this year. I think you just have to approach it, just like every other deal. I think where there was one race in there at Martinsville where we kind of ramped up the intensity and everyone got on top of each other, started yelling, and it just didn't go very well at the end of the race. So we regrouped, and I was really proud of how the team worked together, and we had really good trucks throughout the Chase. So everything just ramps up in intensity, and you just have to be ready for that.
Jeff Gluck here in the middle, William. I'm just curious, are your buddies at school like into racing? Do they care at all that you're a driver? What's the reaction like when you do group projects and classes and stuff? They're like, oh yeah, cool, NASCAR, whatever.
Well, it depends. I mean, there's a few people that are really interested in it. Then there's some that, I've got to, when I think about my friends that go to different colleges and we all meet up from high school friends, when we watch sports, I try and get them engaged in NASCAR stuff. So whether it's watching an Xfinity race, I remember I was with a friend and I was just turned on the Dover Xfinity race from last year, and he thought it was pretty cool. I mean, he watched the last couple laps and saw, I think, Eric won the race, and just trying to get them engaged in what's going on. I actually got a text last night, probably 12:30, from one of my college friends, and he was like, hey, what are all these new rules? So I explained it to him in a couple text messages, and he's like, he thinks that's pretty cool. So I think to get them engaged is trying to bring a new fan base in and trying to get my friends engaged in what I'm doing. Honestly, people don't notice me that much. It's pretty funny. I go through the outdoor courtyard and nobody really knows who I am. So it's kind of a reality check just to go through school like a normal kid.
Well, if you were able to explain the new rules in 2 text messages, I think you're ahead of the curve there. So, William, this is very good. Let's go back to Jim Utter right over here. Oh, no, that was not. Oh, okay. Daniel?
Daniel McFadden, NBC Sports. You're going to have 3 full-time teammates this season. Which one of them are you leaning on the most when it comes to getting insight on running a full season at this level of NASCAR?
I think probably leaning on Elliott Sadler the most. He's has the most experience out of all of us, and he's the oldest guy at JRM. So I think leaning on him to just learn how to manage the entire season, and some of the older guys like Dale has been really helpful, and Chase has kind of been in my same position as a couple years ago. So I think just learning how to keep your cars in one piece throughout the beginning of the year so you have the strongest equipment through the summer stretch. But we were able to do that last year, and really just to lean on my experience from last year will be the most important thing, to go to the same racetracks and be able to have good results.
All right, we've got time for about one more question here for William. Anybody else got one? All right, so you get off the hook just a little bit easy. William, thank you for your time. Good luck.
Appreciate it, man.